Fluffy Files, episode 1.
Hey.
How you feeling?
So good, Dev.
Okay, so this episode is called Who the Fuck is Fluffy Wraxall Anyways?
I mean,
Gotta answer the question. There's so many ways to answer that question. You're a mother, you're the co-founder of Juicy Couture and many other businesses that you can't seem to stop starting. You're the wife of a rock star. There's really so many places to go with this. But we'll start from the beginning. We'll start with Juicy and who the fuck is Fluffy Wraxall anyways?
but first we want to find out who you are. Who is Devin? Devin is actually the cutest girl in the world. I met Devin when she was 21, beyond cute. And she's someone that totally resonates with me as a business person because Devin is the kind of person that will do anything with the best attitude. She has an insane work ethic. She's totally creative. And I mean, so cute. Look at her bangs. Okay, say no more.
Thanks. Thank you. We've had a very emotional week, I feel like.
It was. Yes, crazy.
But we'll start from the beginning, I guess. Like, you didn't, you're not from LA. You didn't come from any sort of like crazy amount of wealth. Like, how did you get here? What was the beginning of this?
Well, I had a weird childhood. I moved every 1 to 3 years, and I grew up mostly in the Midwest. Hard to imagine that, but I did. And so I lived in my head, and I could start over because I was always the new kid in school, moving every 1 to 3 years. So it was a perfect opportunity to change my style, which I did regularly. And I also was a total Barbie freak. My first high heels were little plastic Barbie heels with glitter in them and 2 elastic straps. Amazing clicky sound with those. And so I kind of always was into cutting things up because I was very petite. I was super tiny as a kid. When I was in about the 7th grade, the most depressing thing to me as a 7th grader was the fact that I could not wear pencil skirts and the right shoes because I was so tiny. I was still shopping in the baby department with little tiny ducks on the clothes. That was a problem. So I got into creating my own things and cutting things up and making them sort of be what I wanted them to be. Tremendous fantasy life in my head. That's how I started.
So you were always into fashion, but you didn't necessarily go into it thinking you were going to be a designer.
No.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be an actress. We
relate on that front.
Yeah, I wanted to be an actress. I was in a show on Broadway. I went to Carnegie Mellon, which is a big acting school, super serious and really intense. And then I moved to...
It's like a very good school. I feel like it's hard to get in there.
It's really hard to get in. And it's a really intense school, like super crazy intense, which is good. And then I moved to LA. I did some TV. And then I got pregnant. I was married to someone other than who I'm married to right now, thank God. And
he was also an actor too, so you were both kind of like in the like acting world together?
Well, he was a musician first. So then he, started acting, the whole LA thing. I'm trying to think of the whole exact, sequence of events. But basically, I took a pair of his jeans. I took his vintage Levi's. He didn't know that when he was in the shower. And I cut them apart and I sewed Lycra onto them and I put this strap across them. And I was wearing these very cool, funky, ripped up vintage Levi's when I was pregnant. And that was the first business that I started. It was called Travis Jeans for the Baby in You.
So cute.
So cute. And we made vintage Levi's. That's how I met my partner, Pam.
Right. Okay. So your partner in crime in all of this, Pam, obviously.
Pammy.
But I have heard that you guys actually met in rehab.
Well, we did meet in rehab because what happened was I was working at Alaya, and she was doing her hat company called Helmet. And we had this friend who was sort of like the first, she was kind of an influencer before there were influencers. And she worked at the coolest store on Melrose, Diane Merrick. And she had a serious coke problem. So she had to go to rehab. Couple times when she was in the store with like really good customers, blood would be coming out of her nose and we'd be like, Anyway, so she asked me and she asked Pam to fill in for her when she was in rehab on different days. People always thought we were the same person, even though...
And you didn't know each other yet.
No, we didn't know each other.
You just had the same friend.
We didn't really look alike then, but people thought we were the same person. We're very much twins in a lot of respects, and both very petite, same size, same weirdo, crazy, wacky mentality. And so that is exactly how we met in rehab when we went to see the first time. Oops. Cut. Let's not mention who she was. Cut that out. Okay. And we went to see her, and we were always like, she would like redo all the displays, and I'd be like, oh, what is that? And then I would redo them, and then one day we met finally.
Kismet.
And it was so funny because I was pregnant and I had these crazy jeans on that I made and all this other like funky stuff, and she was always wearing hats and just amazing style, like my kind of style. She was so killer. And we just had the same sensibility and decided to go into maternity because there were no cute maternity clothes. So that's very much how we started.
And okay, who is the first celebrity that wore Travis jeans?
So I just ran into her in a party. Melanie Griffith. And then there was this singer. Nobody's going to remember this. Her name was Pebbles. And so it was in Glamour magazine. What do Melanie Griffith and Pebbles have in common? And it was Travis jeans for the baby and you, which was crazy. We were screaming, oh my God, we're, blah, blah, blah. It was our first big success.
When did Juicy come along then?
So we did Travis jeans for quite a while, and we kind of made a success out of it. We started with $200. This is a true story. We each put in $100. We went downtown to the rag houses. We picked out jeans. We measured them. We cut them up. We sewed the Lycra waistband in. We would call stores and ask them if they had, Travis jeans. And they'd be like, what? And we're like, are you kidding? It's like
guerrilla marketing at its finest.
Guerrilla marketing. Yeah, we did all of that. And then what happened is we were selling to this big maternity chain. And they asked us, we had this whole line of gingham, red, white, and blue, little tiny gingham, cat suits, little skirts, blazers. It was so cute. And they wanted us to recolor it all in neons because that was the color
I just can't
story.
imagine being pregnant. You want to wear neon colors.
Exactly. So what happened was I came back from the factory, found little Pammy squatting outside of our office in the valley in Pacoima. She had her little hat on. Actually, she had a beanie on, and she was like, oh my God, we're going to go out of business. It's so ugly. And it turned out that it was the highest sell-through of any group we ever had. And we looked at each other and said, we're out. Because if that worked and we couldn't relate to it, we hated it so much, then we wanted to do a documentary and go around the country and take video of all the women that bought the cat suits in the cat suits. We called it Hot Dog on a Stick, but that didn't happen. Anyway, and that's when we decided, because we were always cutting up our T-shirts to fit exactly the way we wanted, these old Hanes T-shirts, that we would start Juicy.
With $200.
Yes.
And a broken copy maker.
And yes, we did end up selling Travis jeans for a copy maker. It did not work. We didn't know that when we bought it, but yeah, $200 in a broken copy machine, and we started Juicy.
In Pacoima.
In Pacoima.
California.
In the valley. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you, at least the story that I know, that I've heard a million times, but we're going to tell it again. You guys made a whole line of things for Juicy. You had T-shirts, you had skirts, dresses, like all sorts of stuff, but really it only ended up being one T-shirt in 26 colors.
Yeah. We wheeled this huge line. I mean, we had the craziest things in it. We had this dress. We used to call it the Thanksgiving dress. It actually is kind of happening right now in fashion. It had a big cutout in the stomach. So that was the joke. It was the Thanksgiving dress. With
got it.
Anyway, we had this whole line. And we got it into this very fancy showroom downtown. We had our whole garment rack, and we wheeled it in and gave them our whole story. And after the first market, they were so snobby. They were like, we only sold $7,000. Get this out of here. We were like, what? Oh my God. But there was a woman that came in that was just starting a showroom in New York. And they said she loves it. Call her. We were like, okay. So we called her. She loved it. She went through everything. She was a total New Yorker. And she was like, the rest of this is like fakakta crap. We're taking the T-shirt. And that's what we started with, the T-shirt.
In 26 colors.
Yeah.
Juicy, obviously, is known for the tracksuit.
Right.
So you started with T-shirts, but
yes.
When did the tracksuit come?
Yes, because in every business, as it grows and grows and grows, you how do you grow? You add another category. You add sweaters, you add denim, you add bottoms. We were topped. So we did have the jacket. We were kind of really into 70s fabrics, which is velour. And so we had this jacket, and everything about Juicy was to make your body look as good as possible. Nobody talks about thin now, but at the time, that's what it was about. And so
low-waisted. I guess it's important to set the scene here.
Yeah.
I was very young, but...
It was a 3-inch rise, which meant you did not bend over.
And it was like early 2000s?
Yes.
This is like the time of like Britney and the Olsen twins and like, gossip magazines.
Kim Kardashian,
Paris Hilton.
Yeah, it was everybody really. But it was like, so the jacket had all these seams that were cheated. Even the pants, the seams are all cheated in. So you looked like, and the pants had the seams cheated in, and they were super low. And velour is just one of these insane fabrics. It's a pile fabric, so it soaks up color like crazy. So the colors were just off the charts. And then we did the J-pull. I was obsessed with that.
I feel like it kind of changed the concept of athleisure wear. Like people were not wearing sweatpants out of their house until the tracksuit.
No, like then you wouldn't go shopping if you didn't dress. And now all of a sudden, also the other thing that changed at the same time was footwear. Like all of a sudden women were wearing trainers and different kinds of sneakers to go out. And they wouldn't have done that before. It had been like a little pump or a loafer or something. So the tracksuit and trainers at that time was definitely a major change. We were actually in the V&A Museum in London for their 20-year exhibition as changing athletic wear into fashion. And there's a pink tracksuit and all this like serious stuff. It was hysterical. I mean, it was so funny. I loved it.
It was just different than what everyone else was doing. I feel like this story, to me, it's so interesting because obviously, like, you and Pam were talented, hardworking, like, working for yourselves. But it also was, like, a little bit of the right place, right time, very, like, lucky, perfect storm of things happening at once.
Yes, it was. And also, we were an LA company. So we had the advantage of having all of these costumers that were here, stylists that were here, celebrities that lived here, and they'd come to the office. And there was this whole crazy moment when we embroidered their names on the jackets and they were trading all the names. It was like just a weird, crazy time. Then we put Juicy on the butt.
Oh my God. I remember so vividly my very proper kind of uncle being like, ugh, Juicy, why would you wear something like that? It's disgusting. But I feel like you guys weren't even thinking about it like that.
We were not. In fact, yeah. I mean, I actually, right in the beginning, when it started, I actually divorced and I was dating this, anyway. And he had the same exact thing. I was like, ew, you are out. But yeah, and the Juicy on the butt was, I went to Travis's school and they were having one of those, what are those days at school, Devin, where?
Like back to school night?
Yeah. And it was like, they had like a pep rally. And these cheerleaders were jumping up and down and they had cheer written on their butts of their shorts. And I went back to the office. I was like, oh my God, we have to put Juicy on the butt. And it was kind of a joke in a way, but then everybody loved it.
Because it's so cute.
It was so cute. Yeah, it was so cute. The hard part was the I over the seam in the back because it's a 5-letter word. So we couldn't split it evenly, but it was great.
That's funny.
Wait, that's one thing I want to say to anybody that wants to be a designer. You have to always keep your eyes open because fashion for us came from the streets. The cheer shorts were something that we just saw. I saw it at this like open house, not an open house, whatever you call it, pep rally, whatever it was. But you see things like that in the street and you have to keep your eyes open all the time for colors or for something that resonates with you that you can then translate into whatever your brand is. That was a tip.
Fluffy's hot tips. So obviously Juicy was like this huge phenomena, but for you and Pam, really like starting Juicy with $200, that's an insane beginning. What was the moment for you that you knew like this is a hit?
Well, there were two things that happened. One of them is that Madonna was wearing our tracksuit in the Daily Mail with Madge, which is what they called her over there. That was insane. I mean, we were huge Madonna fans. We were screaming and like going, like things like that meant more to us than sales or anything else. That's kind of what we were like. That was incredible. And the other thing was just once I was walking in Beverly Hills and from every corner, every crosswalk, somebody was wearing Juicy. It was
like
crazy.
Everyone, just a rainbow of Juicy.
You would go to an airport and you would just see Juicy up and down the
Which is
airport.
also important to note here, that you guys really did invent influencer marketing.
Yes.
And all, gifting suites.
We had the first gifting suite at the Chateau that was also like crazy. We had to have, I mean, this was so
And it
awesome.
also worked out well that you guys were in LA. Like the rest of fashion is in New York, but you're in LA and like all the actresses are in LA and they're getting paparazzi'd in LA. Like they're going to the airport, they're traveling, and they're all wearing Juicy in their day to day.
And you have to remember that then there was no Instagram, there was no internet like there is today. There were no influencers. So what sold were the big celebrity magazines, like Us Magazine, People Magazine. Celebrity really sold. And the first celebrity suite that we did was the first time we had PR. Laura Schriftman and Elizabeth Harris, who were great. And it was insane. I mean, it was the craziest thing. Everybody was there with like racks of tracksuits. We were doing pedicures. We were like very into manicure, pedicures, still are. And it was just unbelievable.
But it's crazy to me that you guys were doing that back then, because now everyone does that. Like that's just like the life of an influencer now, is just going to influencer events or dinners or getting your nails done, facials, like things like that. Like that's just like
the
commonplace now.
Yeah, it wasn't that. And we also had this girl that worked for us who, she was a friend. I mean, she was so, oh my God, she was so cute. She was like a little teeny tiny, 5 feet tall. She had big, huge blonde, like afro. And she always wore these big platform shoes. And she shuffled. She just shuffled around, never wore any underwear. God forbid if she bent over anywhere, because she wore the shortest little dresses. And she would go up to anyone, anywhere, go, "Hi, I'm Janie from Juicy." She was Janie from Juicy. And she was brilliant. She got it on everyone. Everyone. She was incredible.
I mean, legitimately, everyone. Like,
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, like, Juicy was the brand.
Yeah.
Everyone wore it. All of the cool girls in school were wearing Juicy. I had a singular Juicy jacket from an outlet.
Oh, Dev.
I don't have it anymore. I was looking for it. I was going to wear it, but I don't know where it went. But it definitely was the vibe of the time.
It was. And what's weird now is when I go around now, like, kids that they're obsessed with Juicy again. It's
Well, because
like
the 2000s, Y2K,
right.
It's a thing.
Right.
Everything comes
Retro.
back in style. It's kind of crazy. I mean, now I'm seeing things that were like from like 2014 is coming back around, which makes me feel incredibly old, because like it doesn't seem like there's been enough time has passed for that to be vintage.
But it is.
But it kind of is. And like that's what like the Gen Zers or whatever the young generation is into right now. It's very scary.
It is. It's crazy to see that. Also, the other thing that Juicy did that was interesting today is that back then, a lot of people, I remember doing an interview with CNN, they're like, "What do real designers think of you?" It's like, Anyway, but now...
Because you guys were in LA, and again, like there weren't a lot of brands here at that time.
None. So it was all film. But now, if you look at fashion now, there isn't a designer that doesn't have a velour tracksuit in it. From Vetements or Balenciaga or Gucci or Tom Ford, everyone does it now. It's just a part of fashion.
Everyone has a tracksuit in their wardrobe.
Everyone does, but not then. Then it was like a whole different,
We missed the J-pull.
That was also a crazy thing. There were so many J-pulls getting lost in the dry cleaners that who knew that the dry cleaners had a dry cleaning association that were they came to us and they're like, we're going to, we're
the Dry Cleaners
out.
Association came to you.
Yes, because they were losing all the J. So they came up with this thing to put like a little net or a little bag around it so they wouldn't fall off. I mean, there were so many crazy things.
That is so cute.
Yeah.
So if you guys weren't considered real designers because you're in LA and you're making athleisure, when was like the first time that the fashion industry acknowledged you?
Well, I don't know when they acknowledged us, but I know that Anna Wintour at Vogue decided that it would be funny. They'd just done an article on us to take oh my God, they did this article and they wanted to film us, right? So our idea was Valley of the Dolls. We did it at Pam's house, and both of us were like in our serious Valley of the Doll abode doing all the, so we wanted to, and Anna Wintour looked at us and said, "What the hell is that? I want them in pink and green tracksuits." But anyway, they decided it would be really funny to take Juicy Couture to meet the Couture. So they flew us to Paris, where we changed clothes 10 times a day. And it was like we had the most amazing time. We went to all the shows. Valentina's threw us a party. we met Karl Lagerfeld. We made them all tracksuits that said, Zsa or Slim or whatever their nicknames were. We met Galliano, who's written on the back of my T-shirt right here from 2002, I think. It was insane. It was insane. It was the most incredible. I mean, Pam and I
two best friends.
Oh my God, and they would go, here come the Juicies. It was hysterical.
And you guys like always wore little like matching outfits and just like cute.
That was like a fluke because we were so much the same that we always liked the same things. I could have been in a different state or country, and I'd call Pam and go, oh my God, I just got this. She'd be like, I have the same thing. And I'd go to pick her up. One day I went to pick her up to go to a dinner and open the door, and we were both wearing exactly the same thing. And that's kind of when we thought, we're just going to go for it, which was a faux pas for girls. We just dressed alike.
I remember my friends getting so mad at me if we like came to school wearing the same thing on accident.
Yeah.
It was like definitely a no-no, but you guys made it cute.
We made it cute.
Yeah. And also like you can match in a Juicy tracksuit and wear different colors.
Uniform.
I call it Mary-Kate and Ashley matching when you want to wear a matching outfit with your friend, but you don't want to be like identical.
Oh, I like
so
that.
Mary-Kate and Ashley match. It's like the same vibe, same but different.
I like that.
They're like, if you look at their outfits, even when they're not even like dressed up to go somewhere, they're always coordinating. And then maybe it's twin telepathy.
There it is. It's
exactly.
Like twinning. Yeah, we call it twinning.
Speaking of Barbies, it's obviously it's the time of the Barbie right now. All anyone can talk about is Barbie.
So good.
We're all going crazy for Barbie, and you just so happen to have your Barbie. It's a Barbie of you.
We were two Barbies. We were Juicy Barbies and we were Couture Barbies. And Tink was a Barbie Chihuahua, which was really the best. But it was
they're so cute.
It was a Couture Barbies. But what
also,
was
not to make this about me, but I look more like your Barbie right now than
you
you
do. Oh my God, you do.
With the bangs and everything. I swear it was not on
streaks
purpose.
and
I'm like
everything.
not a stalker.
I love you, Dev. But and our fragrance was in there. But when they came to us to
so
make
did Mattel
these,
just call you?
Yeah. And
you just get a call from Mattel one day?
Somebody did. It was like, they want to make you Barbies. And of course, just like everyone, we're going to be Barbies. And then all the sample sewers went crazy. They made so many Barbie clothes. Everybody loves Barbie. That's why the Barbie movies just resonated with everybody. It was so brilliant.
And
so happy.
Barbie is very Juicy coded, or Juicy is very Barbie coded. Like it really goes hand in hand. Pink, girly.
Yes.
It's the time of the girl right now.
Yes, it is. And that's what Juicy was. Juicy was such a girly brand. And it was a really amazing culture to work in. Everybody brought their dogs to work. We had a miniature pony named Bucky, and our Japanese distributors were like obsessed with Bucky. If Bucky wasn't there,
I have been begging to have an office pet in our office forever.
Yeah.
I think we need to bring back Bucky.
We had Bucky, and for the Halloween, we had these big Halloween pageants where everybody would come and make costumes, and Bucky came dressed with a J-pole tracksuit and like a little recorder talking like Shrek. It was hysterical. It was fun. I mean, we just had such a good time.
And you can tell, like Juicy is just such a fun brand. Like you can tell that it like so much love went into it.
Yes, that was one of our things, that you make it with love, and we really believed that if we make it with love, people will feel that. And they'll get it, and they'll love it too.
Such a magical time. I mean, truly, like, this is such a long story, and there's so many, like, little stories and, like, nuggets of wisdom, and we'll get to it at another episode, I promise. But I want to talk about a little bit, because I feel like the story of Juicy is such a happy one, and there's so many amazing things that were happening, and, like, all of your dreams are coming true. But at the same time, like, you were a single mom, and you had 2 kids, and you're, like, just trying to, like, make it all happen. And I'm curious, like, what that looked like for you.
It looked like desperation. It's really scary to be a single parent with 2 kids. And I had to make it happen. I couldn't not. It had to work. So it was fun and it was amazing, but it had to work. There was no way around
other
it.
option.
No, there was no other option. It was like, no.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Have to feed the children.
Had to feed the children. Yes. Yeah.
And you did, and then some.
Yeah. Oh my God, when Zoe was born, Pam made her the best like little antique hats and decoupaged her little crib, which I think is illegal. It could be dangerous. But it was so cute. And she had little velvet chokers with we would buy her these little vintage hearts and charms.
Oh my God.
We dressed her up.
Her baby wardrobe must have been
amazing.
Insane.
Oh my God. We had all these different, she was oaky depression baby with the little depression dresses and the little boots, and Travis had his little Marlon Brando biker outfits. We just had the best time. It was so fun.
So what was the moment for you personally, like after going through your divorce, being a single parent, struggling to, start a business, being an entrepreneur? What was like the moment for you where you were like, you could breathe again? You were like, I did it. I made it.
Well, at the time, Pam was on bed rest with Noah, and I was running things, and the business was just, like a tidal wave. It was just growing and growing and growing. And I had this really bizarre, I'm not going to go into this long story. It's a crazy story, but I bought my first house, total fluke. And that was like walking into the house with my baby, Zoe, with her little hat on and her little that was like, I cried. That was the most amazing thing. It was really incredible that I actually did that.
By yourself.
Yes. That was incredible. Yeah, it felt really good.
The American dream.
I think Pam and I have always said we are the American dream. And because we didn't go to business school and we didn't start with huge financing and we didn't borrow money from we would have been scared to do that, trust me. But it is the American dream. And I do believe that, that's a message that I like to tell, because people always have a daughter that believes that they want to start a t-shirt business or they want to do this or that. And like I say, hell yes, do it. Have fun doing it. And if you believe in it, do. The trick is you have to have a customer that wants to buy it if it's a business. But now with online selling, you can find that out in a second.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of competition nowadays, I feel like, because everyone
can't think like that. You cannot think like that. We didn't think like that, possibly because we were in LA and there was no fashion. It was really film. But I don't think you should. I think you just, if you have a vision, you just have to go for it. I believe that.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's important because we're calling the show The Fluffy Files for not so obvious reasons, I don't think. So why do you call yourself Fluffy Wraxall? For people who don't know, your Instagram handle is Fluffy Wraxall. I don't personally call you Fluffy, but that's kind of your alter ego. Would you call it an alter ego?
It's just been my nickname for a really, really long time. So basically, very, very once upon a time, there were two nice girls who loved stuff. They also liked really fluffy clothes. So we were always showing up in something that was like extra, #extra, over the top extra, and extra fluffy. And it would be like, here come the fluffies. So we were just fluffy and fluffy. And then when we sold our business, they called us the Fluffies, and Juicy was the Fluffy in universe. And it was just one of those things. And Pam's son Noah, when John and I bought Wraxall, started calling me Fluffy Wraxall. And that's
kind of genius.
Yeah.
He didn't know it then, but
he didn't know it, but that's where Fluffy Wraxall comes from. But I mean, fluffy is such a good word. I mean, it's so glamorous, right? So I love glamour.
Fluff.
Sparkle, fluff, glamour, fun, happiness, pink, color, girls. I love girls.
It's a fun world.
Yeah.
It really is. Mm. I've loved being a part of it.
Barbie.
Barbie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to keep you too long, but we do. I know that the Fluffians, the Duranis, everyone's going to want to know the John story, and I feel like it's too long and it deserves its own episode. So it's coming, I promise.
And it might be coming with another Durani wife.
Maybe. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting with me. I'm honored to be a part of this and to
Dad.
tell your story, to let the world know about Fluffy. If you want to keep up with Fluffy, you can follow her at Fluffy Wraxall on Instagram and on TikTok. If you want to keep up with me, I'm at Devin Drain on Instagram, also on TikTok. Follow my TikTok. And if you want to ask Fluffy a question about Juicy, entrepreneur, John, literally anything, you can DM Fluffy at Fluffy Wraxall on Instagram, or I will put the email in the description. This was so fun.
Yeah.
I feel like we did a great job for our first episode.
Yay! Thank you, Devin.
Of course. Thank you.